Hello, ladies. Okay, we are going to begin a process of videos, and I've made an executive decision to break the videos apart by layout. I was going to do one really long video with all the background stamping and the extra stamping, but we don't need to drag it out that long. I think it might be a little less overwhelming if we just do one layout at a time. And it'll be very manageable. So what we're going to start with is the stamping on layout number 1. So it's not too much on this. We will be doing some stenciling on these leaves, these leaves, these leaves, and these leaves. Okay. And then we will be stamping this little sentiment here. And that is all that we're doing on layout number 1. Because we've already done our flower prep in a previous video. So I think that's where we're going to go. So what you're going to need is you're going to need your bases for layout 1 and your journaling square, which I believe is a 3x4 white daisy. I can measure that really quick. I'm pretty sure. Yep, it's a 3x4 white daisy that should be in your straight cut bag. And so 2 white daisy bases and your 3x4. You will need your blending brush and you will need your stencil. You will need periwinkle and intense black ink. Let me think, and I think that should do it. So we're going to go ahead and just start on the easy bit first. We won't need these stamps just yet. We're going to go grab that 3x4 piece that says stamping, and we were good girls, right? We we put sticky notes on everything so that we would know that we would need that for stamping. So basically this one is easy peasy. We're going to use the smaller leaf stencil, which is this one right up here. And we're simply going to have a little bit of that leaf come from the upper left and the bottom so that when we journal in between, it's just a little added element of interest. And then we're going to stamp a sentiment across the bottom. Now, I chose to do the celebrating you, but you can choose something different depending on your photos as well. So we're just simply going to I have my back side of my Versamat underneath my all-purpose mat. And that's just how I like to work. If you don't have a Versamat and you want to work on the foam that comes right inside your stamp, now this can be firm. You can be on a firm surface for this part because we're just doing some rubbing, but you don't have to use your Versamat. You can use your foam from your stamp if you don't have a Versamat. I love my Versamat. So, okay, so I'm just rubbing a little bit of my periwinkle ink, and I'm going to, you can go dark or light, but I'm going to hold back a little bit, and I'm just going to kind of start light and add more color if I feel like I need more color. You're going to need some baby wipes because you want to be sure to wipe your all-purpose mat between these steps so that you don't rub ink on other things, okay? Now we're going to use that same leaf and we're going to come up from the bottom, and I have a little bit more of that showing, and it's maybe kind of going all the way across the corner there. You can use washi tape to hold this in place if you want, but I feel like it's easy enough to just hold in place with a small piece like this, okay? And you can go as dark or as light as you want. I just kind of want different hues in mine. There we go. Woohoo! Easy peasy. So go ahead and throw that back in your layout 1 bag. And we're going to grab our wipe and we're going to wipe our all-purpose mat. Okay, you could use your stamp chamois or a baby wipe. I usually just keep baby wipes, especially since we still have one grandchild that's still in diapers. So I have baby wipes around, and I keep them around in my room. Now you can also use a wipe. Your stencil will wipe off completely. We're going to actually use it for that color again, but it wipes off super easy. So that, and actually it looks like I wasn't a very good girl and I didn't wipe it off the last time. So maybe I better do that so I don't get that color all over everything. I kind of have one of my all-purpose mats that's sort of gotten wear and tear and kind of yucky. That I use for a lot of my inking, and then I have another one that I sometimes use if I have to be on camera. You guys will notice most of my stuff looks horrible and embarrassing. In fact, I just ordered new labels for my inks because this is what ends up happening. It's just disgusting. But I am a person who uses and uses and uses their things. So they're going to get wear and tear on them, but I don't know how these people that do these wonderful videos just have perfect, pristine materials. I'm a hazard, I guess. All right, we're going to take one of our white daisy bases, and it is going to be the left page. Now, I would grab a pencil and a ruler if I were you. I forgot to mention, and I'm going to give you some dimensions. Now, before you get stressed out, if your dimensions are a little off, this is not perfect. It's just to show the flourishes in the background. It doesn't matter if yours is a little higher or a little lower, or you add extra. You've got your stencil, so you can add more if you want more color. You can do so much more, and your tearing isn't going to be the same as my tearing, but it's okay. You can tear your pieces down based on where your stenciling is, but it's just so it peeks through. Some of you will have more peeking through, some of you will have less peeking through, but I'm going to give you the exact measurements, and you can use your pencil, and you can make some pencil marks if you want to, but you can just have fun with that. Now, some people prefer to go ahead and place their pieces and then do their stenciling or their stamping afterwards. I like to kind of, if I can, there are times when I can't, like the foof stamping, when we're doing speckles and splotches, we'll probably do that at the very end of the, when we're putting our layouts together, we'll do that as a last step because you won't quite know where you'll want all of those. But some of this I like to have done, simply have done ahead because it just feels good to be able to work and lay those pieces out. All right, so let's grab our stencil, which I've already lost. Oh my gosh, I'm a hazard. Where is it? I washed it. I laid it. Here it is. Okay, so let me give you the first measurements. This is the left base. So if you need to, so that you don't get messed up, write left base on the back of that. And so we are going to measure from the bottom left. It's pretty close to the edge. So we're going to measure 1.5 inches up, okay, from this left edge, and we're going to make a small mark, okay? Then we're going to know that those pieces have, if the edge comes out right over here at 1.5 inches, okay, and it has about a 4.5 inch span. So we're going to make a mark at the 4.5 inches. So all I've done is on my edge, I went up 1.5 inches. And then from that mark, I've come over 4.5 inches. I'm probably only about 1/4 of an inch from this edge. Okay, let me erase that so I don't confuse you, okay? And then we're gonna come up in the center of these two marks. So there's 4.5 inches, so we're gonna come about 2.5 inches, okay? You don't have to measure, about 2.5 inches, about the center of those two marks, and 3.5 inches up, and we're gonna make a mark right there. What I've just done is I've made a triangle, 1.5 inches up, 4.5 inches apart. In the middle of that, 3.5 inches up, because we're going to make a leaf and a leaf, okay? That's all we're doing. And I'm really going into a lot of detail when you can just guesstimate. You can just kind of guess. You just want a little bit of that peeking through. That's all you want. Now, I don't know why, but I must have just loved this size. And so this is the size. I use that same one in the upper left, which is the smallest leaf. So you can definitely use a larger leaf if you want to. So do you see how I'm quite a ways away, but I've got the tip of that leaf on the pencil mark and I've got the center pointing upward, okay? So you're gonna have big stickers and flourishes over the center, but I just sort of put that center mark there to show where it was aiming. So now we're gonna go ahead and we've got our ink on there and we're just gonna rub. Now be careful because sometimes I'll go over into another one or I'll get over on the edge and then it bothers me that I've got this little weird mark. But honestly, because it's just a background flourish, it would be okay. Now we've got this mark over here and we're gonna do that again. And we're just going to aim it up toward that center again so that when we put those stickers and stuff up there in the center, that these two leaves are coming out from that. Just, you know, giving you way more detail when you could just basically lay your stencil on and add a couple pieces. And then you could always come back in after your pieces are in place and add more if you need more. Okay, so that is it for that one. Now we have another one over here that's going to come out from the photos and just a little bit of it peeking out. So we're going to come 2 inches in from the right, okay, and 4 inches down. So this is where it would be nice to have another Versamat because we could just do that on the Versamat. But we're 2 inches in, so about here, and 4 inches down. So let me go here, and we're gonna go 1, 2, 3, 4 inches down. So we're gonna make a mark right here, and that is where the tip of the flower or the leaf is going to be. And it's just gonna come off. Excuse me, what is the matter with me? I'm gonna have to grab a little drink of water here. Okay, so we're just gonna come up. So sorry, you guys, goodness. Come up at an angle, and the angle doesn't matter. I'm kind of flat, but I'm tilted up maybe about 45 degrees or a little less than 45 degrees. And not all of it is going to show, but you can have as little of it or as much of it showing, and that is it. That is all we're doing for prep on this base. Now we're going to grab the right base, okay? Now the right base here. So let's take a look at what we're doing on the right base. We've done this already. So all we're gonna do is this little section right down here. Okay, so I'm gonna give you the measurements for that. So we're going to come in, again, the same measurement, 1.5 inches from the bottom, which is what we did on the left page, okay? 1.5 inches in from the bottom and 2 inches from the left. So 2 inches from the left, okay? Doesn't need to be perfect. I'm just using my finger and I'm gonna put a mark there. Okay, and then the span for this one is 5 inches. It has like a 5-inch span, and I'm going to tell you that this one is about 1/4 inch higher. So I'm just tilting my ruler up so that it's 5 inches apart, but it tilts up a teeny, just a titch. And then in the center of the 5 inches, which is about 2.5 inches, we're going to go up to 3.5 again, which is what we did, the 3.5 on the left page. Just so we know the angle, we're just kind of making a triangle so we know the angle. All right, so let's take a look at it again. It's just a wider angle. This one comes out a little straighter. That one comes out going upward a little bit. All right, so here we go. We're gonna bring this in and we're gonna go, this one is more upward toward this center mark, and it so doesn't matter. This is the way I did it, but it so doesn't matter. You can angle yours differently. You know, it's gonna be beautiful, I promise. It's gonna be beautiful whichever direction you go. So pretty, such a pretty stencil. Okay, so we have that one. Now this one is flatter, and it actually comes not up to the point, but a little bit flatter. And that's why it has a bigger wingspan, okay? So we're putting the tip of the leaf on our pencil mark, and we're going a little flatter this way, okay? And there we go. Woohoo! And that is all the prep work for layout number 1, except we have some stamping I forgot. Okay, so if you want to, you can write right base on this one, if that helps you keep it straight. So you have your left base and your right base, and I told you to put the piece that we did back in your bag. I told you to put that back in your bag, but we forgot to stamp it. We have to stamp it, okay? All right, so let's pull this out. And all we're going to do on this one is put a sentiment on it. And I'm using Celebrating You. You can say something different if you want to. So we're going to grab our stamp set, and we're going to grab Celebrating You. And I'm going to lay it here. Gently lay it there. I like to pick up my stamps, just have them laying there instead of putting them on my block. I like to have them laying down, and there's a wonderful little line that you can see in our blocks. I like to just lay that down, and then I know that I've got it straight. If I put it on there, I inevitably have it crooked. All right, so we're going to use Intense Black. Okay, and we're just going to stamp across the bottom. If you have not seasoned your stamp on your skin or on scrap paper, definitely stamp off on scrap paper 2 or 3 times before you do your final stamping. Mine is very seasoned because I've used it several times already. So I'm just going to come across here. And perfect, yay, alrighty. So we are all done with the page prep work for layout 1. Nice job. See you in the layout 2 video.